What's up everyone, OJ here, welcome back to another video. And you know what, I just decided that there wasn't enough games to talk about in 2019, so we should just go ahead and move forward to 2020. No, I'm joking. There's plenty of great games to play in 2019, plenty of great games to talk about, but it's never too early to kind of look forward just a little bit to talk about what's going to be happening in 2020, because there's some pretty cool games. And I will have a disclaimer, just disclaimer, when we get to the last game. It's not confirmed for 2020 just yet, but I'll give you my reasons why I think it's going to be dropping, or I know that we're probably going to get a lot more information in 2020 about that game. So let's go ahead and first jump into this list here with Digimon Survive. This is a game that got delayed. It was supposed to come out in 2019, but it's coming out 2020, and I understand why there's a delay. It is a interactive strategy RPG. So you're gonna have elements from like a game like Mass Effect, for example, where your character choice and what you say and what you research can affect what happens in the story and can actually affect the endings and kind of who lives or who dies. It actually is a really different type of experience than what we've seen before in the Digimon franchise, especially from what we're getting on the Nintendo Switch with the Digimon Cyber Sleuth games that are coming over. Completely different style of game with the interactive pieces, and then also the strategy RPG elements also being thrown into there. A strategy RPG just in general, it's on a grid, so it kind of has like that Fire Emblem style, Final Fantasy Tactics style of gameplay. So they're doing a lot of different things with this game, so I kind of understand why they probably needed a little bit more time with it, because it is different. It is a little bit more interactive with the story elements, and there are going to be branching paths and different things that you can do in order to have different outcomes, different endings. So it does seem a bit more ambitious than what they've done before in the past. So once again, that delay I think was warranted in order to make a better game. But at the same time, I think that they can polish things up and they can even refine more of the strategy RPG gameplay from what we've seen before, especially after the excellent Fire Emblem Three Houses. There's probably some more things that they wanted to add in order to make it a better game. So that is launching, I would guess, early 2020. We just know that it's going to be 2020 at some point. It was supposed to come out, I think, Q3 or summer Q3 of 2019. So it feels like it is going to be like a early or first half 2020 game, but Bandai Namco will give us more information at a later date. But let's go ahead and move on to the next game here, and this is a game that I'm personally very excited about, and that is No More Heroes 3 on the Nintendo Switch. Now, we still haven't quite seen exactly what the game is going to look like. The footage that they showed us necessarily isn't like gameplay, 100% footage or anything like that, because there was that little disclaimer, but I think it's kind of targeting what they want to do or what they want it to look like. And Suda has came out and stated that this will be a early 2020 game. So it does seem like they are full steam ahead on making this game. And they wanted to announce it because people just wouldn't shut up, especially after Travis Strikes Again. People were just like, man, we really need to see No More Heroes 3. We really want No More Heroes 3. Will this lead to No More Heroes 3? And if you play Travis Strikes Again and the ending, obviously there was some, you know, some teasing of that going on. So it makes sense that No More Heroes 3 is going to be a 2020 game coming off of No More Heroes Travis Strikes Again, or Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes. Let me make sure I say that correctly. So that seems like it's going to be really good, because No More Heroes has always been one of those games that has so many crazy gameplay ideas all thrown in. Like each title, they share similarities, but at the same time, they're like different. Even like No More Heroes 1 and No More Heroes 2, they added in a bunch of different stuff like with the 8-bit things. And then Travis Strikes Again is completely different from what we've seen before, right? It was more of a smaller scale game. There's a lot of stuff happening at Grasshopper Manufacturer. Getting the funding for this type of game, doing what they want to do, making Travis return in all of his glory when it comes to a home console. First time this game is going to be developed completely for the lead platform on an HD system. We haven't seen it before in terms of a mainline game, because you have to remember No More Heroes 1, that was developed for the Wii first, then ported over. No More Heroes 2 just came out on just the Wii itself, and Travis Strikes Again, that was not necessarily a mainline game in the series of No More Heroes, more of a spin-off type of thing. So this is the first time for him, so it should be interesting to see how it all plays out next year with No More Heroes 3 on the Nintendo Switch, exclusive for what we know for right now. But let's go ahead and move on to the next game here, and that is Animal Crossing New Horizons. Now, I've never been a huge Animal Crossing fan. The last game that I actually played and got into a lot was Animal Crossing on the Nintendo GameCube, and I thought that was pretty cool. There was a lot of great stuff that you can do, but I just kind of ran out of stuff to do. Like, I didn't have anybody to play the game with. I didn't have anybody to share my experiences with back then because online wasn't as big. I mean, it was there and there was message boards and you can do stuff, but it wasn't as interactive. Whereas now in today's day, when it comes to like New Horizons, we have online play, right? So you're going to be able to go to people's towns. You're going to be able to do all the interaction. You're going to be able to talk to people, because this seems to me like a social type of game where you discuss different types of things that are going on in your town, and you kind of invite people over to yours and you go over to theirs. I think that in today's day, a game like Animal Crossing is a lot more exciting than what it was before, at least for me. Now, I know some people don't play it online and they just like to play by themselves and pretty much only manage things, but I just think that this type of game, especially with the type of community that we have here, would be a lot more fun for someone like me, who's more of a action type of gamer, you know. But if I am going to play a game like this, I definitely want to involve the people in the community. So I feel that Animal Crossing New Horizons is going to be one of those games, or at least when it comes to a franchise that I don't really like or really play a lot of the other ones before, but because of the modern enhancements in technology and kind of what you can do and kind of what I'm doing now at this point, this one seems a lot better to me. And it seems like they're adding a lot more variation too with the gameplay, with like they have like a custom creator or whatever, to where you can kind of like make whatever you need instead of having to gather or do different things like you did before in the past. Seems like they have a lot more different events. They have like the little like pole vaulting thingy, or what was it? Or where the villager was like using a stick to get across the lake or whatever, or the river. So that was also pretty cool as well. So it seems like they're adding a lot of cool stuff into the game here. You also have the different skin tones that you can use as well. So a lot more customization for your villagers. So I do like that. So overall, I'm looking forward to it. It's definitely on my radar now, and especially with the community that we have and kind of what they're doing with this game. But let's go ahead and get to the second to last game that I'm going to be talking about here. And remember, all these games have been confirmed for 2020 up until the last one, but this is the second to last one. So let's go ahead and talk about Trials of Mana. And this game absolutely blew me away at E3 2019. Like literally, it like blew me out of my seat.
Oh my God! Stay in motion with the power of mana.
Oh no! Yeah, that was my reaction to the game. I could not believe it, because I felt that Square Enix thought that this franchise was dead, especially after that lackluster shoestring budget of the Secret of Mana remake on the PlayStation 4 and the PS Vita, and I think PC or whatever systems it came out on. I know it was PS4 and PC. I think it was Vita in Japan or something. But either way, after that disaster for the most part, I thought Square Enix was like, you know what? Skip the Mana series. We don't want to give them any money. We don't want to make sure that this series survives. This series is going to be dead in the water. And then all of a sudden it was like an explosion, right? We got the Secret of Mana collection that was finally released stateside and in the West, finally, after all of these years. That was like 2 years ago in Japan. They finally released it. The first time Seiken Densetsu 3 or Trials of Mana has been released outside of Japan in an official release, not a fan translation patch. So that was incredible. And then on top of that, they said, oh, we're not done. We're also going to give you guys brand new remake of Trials of Mana Seiken Densetsu 3 on the Nintendo Switch and the PlayStation 4. As a Secret of Mana fan, a lifelong Secret of Mana fan, one of the first RPGs that I ever played, I think it actually was the first RPG that I ever played on the Super Nintendo, this just blew me away. I could not believe that they were doing something this awesome. And it was such a trailblazer back in the day with Secret of Mana, because it was the first RPG that I remember that you can actually play with your buddies right there. It was an action RPG where you can play multiplayer. So it holds a special place in my heart. And if you look at Trials of Mana and how great the gameplay looks, how great the game is originally on the Super Nintendo, and then you take that and you put it, such a faithful recreation that they're doing on the Switch and the PlayStation 4, what more can a Mana fan ask for at this point? I am eternally grateful for Square Enix for this, and this is very high up on my 2020 games. Looks like it's going to be coming out Q1 or first half 2020, so look forward to that game. But we're getting to the last game here, guys, and this one might be a little bit controversial because there's already tons of talk about whether this game is going to be 2020 or not, but it's The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And here's the reason why I think that it has a shot. Now, there's always delays, something could happen. I'm very aware of that, but I think that it has a shot at being a 2020 game because Nintendo, especially with the Switch, now not before in the past, like with the Wii U and the 3DS and stuff like that, but with the Switch, they've always announced games and released games within that year, that calendar year, or within a year's time. They've never waited too much longer to release the game. For example, you look at like Super Mario Odyssey, it got its official reveal in January 2017. It released that same year. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, same thing as well. Look at stuff like Splatoon 2 or ARMS. All of these games were announced and released within that same, at least general timeline. If you're looking at them announcing it at E3 2019, nothing sitting here says that we don't get like a blowout at E3 2020 and a release for that fall 2020, because why would you announce it so much earlier if it was going to be a following year title? That seems to me like it's way too early for a sequel to a game that you're probably going to be using the same engine for and refining and adding a bunch of different gameplay elements on top of what you've already done. To me, that's 3 years, right? If you look at 2017, that was pretty much when they were done with the DLC. At the end of 2017, they released everything. So 2017, 2018, 2019, and then 2020. So 3 years of development when you started going from the end of 2017 to 2020 seems to me like it's primed for a fall release. 2020, 3 solid years of good development somewhere that time, and an engine that you already have and you're building on top of an already amazing game. And Breath of the Wild, to me, it would be a huge blockbuster style of game to release at the end of 2020 when the new systems come out and you're saying, hey, well, the new systems are out and we get that, but we've got the sequel to literally the game of the generation for the most part so far. So I think that it could be 2020 when it comes to Breath of the Wild. So what do you guys think about some of these 2020 games for the Nintendo Switch? 5 big ones that we have here. Any games that I missed, or maybe ones that you're looking forward to that you want to talk about? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Go and check out the links in the description below. We got Facebook and Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for latest RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.